Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jonathan, your host here at QuickBird Gaming. Thank you for tuning in for another unscripted video here. I'm sitting out on my porch. It's about 4:45 local time. The sun is setting. It's chilly, but it's not too bad. There's no breeze, so it's tolerable. And my wife's got stuff playing out loud in our workroom in there, her craft room where my studio is located in the corner. And so I just thought I'd step out here to talk. If you hear some panting, I got my old dog here on the ground. He's old. He's not doing too good, but he's still hanging in there. So he's just having a little trouble breathing. The cold air is actually helping him a little bit. Anyway, didn't want to talk about any of that. I came to talk about what's going on with this game, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Now, if you're unfamiliar with it, KCD 2 and the original Kingdom Come Deliverance are games that they're role-playing games that are set in medieval Bohemia. I want to say in the 1400s. They were touted by Warhorse Studios, the development company, as being very historically authentic and true to form. I haven't played them yet. I would love to get to Kingdom Come Deliverance, but right now I've got a huge backlog, and at some point I'll get to it, but certainly not before the second game comes out. Anyway, Daniel Vavra, the head of Warhorse Studios, has stirred some controversy in recent weeks. He had given an interview shortly back, a little while back, where he said that the game companies were scared of people like Asmongold, the Critical Drinker, basically because these folks have influence and with millions of followers. I think he called hate tubers, is what Daniel Vavra said. So basically, people that have generated some controversial opinions make the game companies nervous. He's also put out photos of himself that say that he's super based, so on and so forth. And a lot of people liked Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. If I remember correctly, it sold about 8 million copies, and they were looking forward to the second one. Well, about this, I'm filming this on Monday, 20 January. I want to say maybe on Thursday of last week or Friday, the news emerged that, or at least a rumor emerged that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 had been banned in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for quote unquote a same-sex unskippable cutscene. Now, a lot of people immediately reacted to this and said, okay, they weren't going to buy. Some people took a more measured approach and said, well, none of the cutscenes in the first game were unskippable, so I don't expect they will be in the second game. I'm going to wait and see. And opinions have varied back and forth. And things got a little more interesting when Daniel Vavra just kind of gave a very milquetoast answer. He didn't really confirm or deny it at first. And so that just set the speculation wheels churning even further. It also, about the same time, sometime in the last 4 or 5 days, in the same time frame, the community manager of the forums over on, I think it was on Steam, maybe it was their official community, basically posted a new policy that said you're not going to be able to talk about subjects X, Y, Z, one of which was homophobia, and a lot of people who were talking about this saying we're not buying because of this gay scene, were getting suspended or banned, and basically they were trying to clamp down on their community forums, which upset some people. So in the last couple of days, there's been a lot of churn over this among the people that were really looking forward to the game. And like I said, the people have taken various stances on it, whether or not they agree with the folks that are saying they don't want to buy it now, to people saying relax, it's no big deal, to what are you afraid of, and why any anti-woke people got to go so hard. And it just runs the gamut. Kind of what you'd expect and when one of these type of things happens. So I see today that Daniel Vavra has kind of confirmed. He said that I'm gonna misquote him here, but the gist of what he said was, it's a role-playing game. You can choose to role-play how you want, and there are consequences for doing so. And some people have interpreted that as if you choose to play as a gay character as Henry, if you choose to engage him in a same-sex relationships, that won't be looked at well by the NPCs in the game, because historically in that time in Central Europe it wasn't. People could be persecuted and often were killed for engaging in those types of relationships. Some people have simply looked at it and said, nope, we've got woke and DEI, whatever you want to call it, in our game, and we're not going to buy it now. And again, the reactions kind of run the gamut of this. And I've kind of watched from, taken the 30,000 foot view. I haven't really weighed in with an opinion. I've just kind of been watching to see what happened with this. Mostly because, as I've said repeatedly on the channel, I love RPG games. I had Kingdom Come Deliverance on my playlist, the first one, and I wanted to see how it played and everything. In fact, I've even bought it. It's on my Steam account. And so I was just kind of waiting to see what shook out of this. And I've seen a lot of people turning on each other. I've seen a lot of people who were saying that before that, oh no, it's in there. Okay, now it's not. They're saying it's just an option if you want to engage in the same-sex relationship, so it's not a big deal. There was a leak out there from somebody who apparently played it, who said that if you go that route with the male-on-male romance, that it is a brief cutscene and there's nothing explicit about it, and there's no explicit nudity shown, just them basically in a close, intimate position. Whereas at the same time, they said in this leak that if you engage in a romance with females, it's extremely explicit with full frontal nudity, and apparently there's a lot of naked women in this game to begin with. I'm going strictly based on what somebody who has played the game has reported. I can't vouch for the validity of it, so I'm reporting it as rumor because the game is not released, and we don't have a good selection of reviews to look at to kind of base that on, or any screenshots or clips of the game. So we really don't have any evidence yet. A lot of it is all hearsay. But this kind of brings me to my wider point when I think about this, and I've thought about this with other games, and kind of, when there's a controversy, and gaming is a hobby that tends to generate a lot of controversy, one way or the other. I think people in our day and age enjoy controversy because it gives them to something to kind of rile their emotions up. And in the case of gaming, we've got all across the board. You see games, there is a hue and cry about DEI and woke. Now, whether you believe in it, or whether you believe it's bogus, or whether you believe it's necessary, or you think it's too much or too little, those are all individual opinions, and those are fine, because there are games out there that are going to suit everybody. You can find the games to play that will suit you. And this kind of brings me to my point on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Even if I were ready to play it, and like I said, I'm not because I'm backlogged, even if I were ready to play it, I would not buy it until it was after release. I'm one of these people that think you should never pre-order a game. And there's a reason why. You never really know what you're going to get. Even from trusted companies, you're never quite sure you're going to get what you think you're going to get. And I always wait to see what happens. I wait to see till after the game comes out. I want to see how buggy things are. I want to see how well it's running on my preferred platform, which is a PC. I want to see how well things like the story play out. I want to see reviews from people I trust, or if I don't have trusted reviewers for that particular game, I want to see kind of an amalgamation of reviews so I can get a full story. It's very easy to say go through the Steam reviews and pick out a one-liner who says, this game sucks because there was too much gay in it, or not enough gay in it. Whatever. That doesn't tell you anything. But you can also find a lengthy review which delves into things about, bugs like clipping, and things like sound stuttering, and NPCs not being there where you need to get quests off of them, things that are broken, game-breaking bugs. But if you wait till after release, you also give them a chance to iron out bugs. And I kind of advocate that, regardless of your position on games, and you think you're going to enjoy them or not, that you always kind of wait till after they're out. Wait and find out from people that you trust, that share your viewpoint, how the game stacks with your particular preferences. If you're absolutely against, say, woke elements being in the game, if you don't like what you would consider to be unnatural representation, like in this particular case. Daniel Vavra confirmed there is a black character, I believe, from Mali. And as you might expect, in 1300 Central Europe, such characters are going to be extremely rare historically. If that bothers you, or you don't like the fact that there is a same sex romance option, you don't buy the game. If, on the other hand, representation is important to you and you don't think there's enough representation, or you think the female characters are over sexualized, you don't buy the game. Bitching about it online it can feel good. It can be cathartic. It scratches the dopamine itch. But at the end of the day, it's not going to do a whole lot. It's really not going to matter much, probably, for the game's success. A game that is good or bad, I really honestly believe when you get right down to the rub of it, where the rubber meets the road, it's going to be based on its gameplay. If the game plays well, and it has a improper amount of racial representation for your particular viewpoint, whether it's too much or too little, whatever you want to call it. If the game plays well, there will be a section of people who won't buy it because of the viewpoint they share with you. But by and large, it's still going to get played. It's still going to get bought, and it's still going to be enjoyed by a lot of people. I could point to a game like Disco Elysium, which has some pretty serious social commentary, but the game was so engaging that a lot of people enjoyed it. I could also point to a game, like, say, Space Marines 2 from this year, which, if it has political themes, they're not right in your face. Yes, some people can talk about the anti-fascist mockery in it, but they're really not in your face in the actual gameplay. But people liked it because they were able to play the game. Marvel Rivals is going gangbusters right now, and it's I'm not going to lie, it's in no small part to the fact that all the men are wish fulfillment, beefy, kick-ass characters. All the women are slender, long-legged, busty. They're, except for Squirrel Girl. She's not really slender. She's a bit thick. But, all the women characters are, if you want to use the term sexualized, they're visually appealing. And that's going to appeal to a lot of players. Whether you like that or not, it's just the truth. It's just the fact. If you personally don't want to play it because that bothers you, that's okay. I think that's good. I think you should stick to your guns and stick to your morals. Again, you can complain about it on forums and online, but what good is it really going to do? Whose mind are you going to sway? Whose opinions are you going to turn? Nobody's. You might shame some people into being quiet, but they'll still quietly play the game, more than likely. So all you can do is really worry about what you do. It's kind of how I approach it. I give my opinions on games. I never tell people to play games or not play games. I never tell them they're wrong if they play a game or don't play a game. I am not a real-time strategy fan. I don't really like the genre. It doesn't do anything for me. I find it kind of frustrating, and I find, especially, I think because when I was playing them, when I came up on games like AoE and StarCraft, back 25, 30 years ago, I found them to be very formulaic. You just hit on the right strategy, and you would win a lot of games, and certainly every game against a computer. However, there are a lot of people that like them, who I'm not going to be, who am I to tell them that they're wrong? We just have a different taste. The same way some people like hockey. I don't care for it. I prefer college football as my sport of choice, hence my Nebraska hat. Yes, it's my alma mater. Yes, I know they're on hard times. You can make fun of me, but yeah, I'm already aware that they're not as good as they used to be. So really, it's a matter of, picking what you want. And in the case of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, my advice to people would be just wait and see. The game is going to be out in, I think, about three weeks. Maybe sooner. I don't remember. It's sometime in February. Wait and see if you've got questions. And if you're going to go online and say, okay, I'm not pre-ordering now. It's off my wish list and I'm boycotting them. Okay. But you may find out later that it wasn't as bad as you thought, and you may quietly buy it. That's nothing to be ashamed of. You changed your mind, and that's fine. Though I would tell you to cut out the middleman and just pull back and say, I'm just going to wait. And then don't stress about it. So many people get so vitriolic about these things. And again, this is not restricted to the woke or the anti-woke, to the left or the right. This is just human nature, I'm finding, and I'm finding it more and more it's the case on the internet, period. Excuse me. So I would definitely say with Kingdom Come 2, there's a lot of uncertainty. Did I say Kingdom Come 2? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. KCD 2. There's a lot of uncertainty about this. So my recommendation is to not entrench yourself in a position. Just wait and see. It'll be out in a few weeks and then you'll know. And then move on to other things. In the meantime, don't waste your time stressing about it. Don't worry about it. If it was a game you're looking forward to and you think for whatever reason it's now not going to fit the bill, and this goes for any game, there are a lot of games out there. There are tons of games. There's more games than, unless you're a professional game reviewer who's doing this 50, 60, 70 hours a week, there are more games out there than most of us will ever be able to play in our lifetime. So move on. Find something else. There are games out there. There are indie games out there all the time that are coming up. It's not like it was 50 years ago, or 50 years ago. Okay, maybe 30 years ago, where you had to have a big studio and a big publisher to get a game out there. I've mentioned before that I'm an author. I don't have to have a publishing house to get my books out there. I can get them self-published through something like Amazon, and they're available. And I can do it as a one-man show. Well, the guy who made Balatro was one designer, and he is kicking ass now with that game. So there's a lot of games out there. So don't box yourself into this. I've had it. I'm not doing this. This game has too many sexy female characters. This game doesn't have enough sexy female characters. I'm not buying. Don't stress about it. Just let it go. And in this case, a Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance, my personal view, again, is there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of questions. As far as I know, that there was no actual ban in Saudi Arabia. TBD, we'll see what happens. But don't worry. Just let this go and move on to something else. There's always games to play. And if you think about classic games, there's thousands of games out there, and obsessing or getting vitriolic or hysterical over a single game, even if it was one you're really looking forward to, is just not healthy for you. Fallout is my favorite franchise, and the fact that Bethesda hasn't put out Fallout 5, it's been 10 years, or I guess 7 years since Fallout 76, if you want to count that, since a Fallout game came out, and it's going to be many more years before they get around to it. Is it frustrating? Maybe a little. If it comes out and it's crap, will I be disappointed? Sure. It's not going to ruin my life. And even though I love Fallout, I'm not buying it ahead of time. I'm not buying it the day of release. I'm going to wait and see, because frankly, don't trust game developers anymore. You never know what you're going to get. And that's just the sad reality of life, I guess. And it's not really restricted to games. But anyway, I have babbled way too long about this. If you hung with me to the end, I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. In the meantime, I'll have another video coming out. This is today's Monday. I'll have another video coming out Wednesday. So I'm going to just go get back to work. I'm in the middle of my playthrough for my next How Does It Play Today game, which is when I look back on games that are 25 years old. So I'm looking back on games from 2000. I'll give you a hint. It's a long-running franchise and involves a little dude in a green hat. So, having said that, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get off this porch, take my poor dog in because he's sitting here looking at me telling me he's cold. I'm going to get back to doing what I need to do. So you all, thanks for listening. Go out there and live your best lives. You all stay gaming.